This video is sponsored by Squarespace. More about them later. I did a hardcore Nuzlocke of Pokémon Platinum using only normal type Pokémon. So roll out the carpet for none other than Beaver the Bidoof, the best starter I could ask for. Beaver's got an adamant nature and a zeal for life. She's gonna need both because in a Nuzlocke, if a Pokémon faints in battle, it's dead forever. And with my other standard hardcore Nuzlocke rules, the very first gym leader Rourke is a massive problem for my little buck-toothed rascal. At the very least, she's not going at it alone, with Bird the Starly joining the team from Lake Verity. But sadly, she won't be all that helpful against Rourke's 3 rock types. Nope, this is pretty much all up to Beaver. And unfortunately, so early in the game, we have very few resources to craft even a halfway decent strategy. By battling exclusively against low-leveled Bidoof on Beaver's home turf of Route 201, we can at least get a ton of HP EVs to better tank some hits, though this does come at the price of Beaver laying waste to his very own clan of Bidoofs. Friends, neighbors, acquaintances, people you recognize from the local grocery store but have spent way too long not saying hi to that it would now be weird to suddenly start a conversation with, all wiped out as Beaver and Bird prepare for the fight of their lives. Is this doof-on-doof violence worth it? Only time will tell. In Orberg Gate, a hiker gives me the HM for Rock Smash, which will fittingly be Beaver's attack of choice. Professor Rowan also gave me the TM for Return, which grants Bird, who can evolve into Staravia, a powerful stab move should she need to finish the job if the unthinkable happens to Beaver. And though held items are essentially non-existent before the first gym badge, I can at least get the Quick Claw from Jubilife City, which might bail Beaver out against Onyx or Crane. But that's all I can do prep-wise. From here, I've just gotta leave it to Beaver. The fate of Attempt 1 is in her tiny little paws as Rourke sends out Geodude. Our plan is fairly straightforward. Since Beaver graduated from the No Thoughts Just Vibes Academy for the Simple-Minded, her defense curls are supercharged to boost our defense stat by 2 stages each time. And since Geodude starts by setting up a Stealth Rock, we can get to +4 defense before he connects with a Rock Throw for 4 damage. At such a low level, an additional +2 from another defense curl here doesn't actually change any of the damage rolls, so Beaver instead starts going for damage with the aptly named Rock Smash. The super effective move doesn't do much, but we are out-damaging Geodude by a significant margin, though this strategy of course heavily relies on little Beaver here dodging crit after crit. Just a single critical hit to break through our defense boosts and our fluffy rodent will be on life support. But after Rourke uses his first potion, it's actually Beaver herself who gets the critical hit, meaning that on the following turn we get the first KO of the fight. And the XP boosts Beaver to level 15, which is fine since the level cap ends at the start of the battle. As a result, Beaver is sitting pretty at 42 HP as Onyx comes in second. The Rock Snake is significantly bulkier than Geodude, but also significantly weaker. And Rourke's Onyx in particular seems to be competing for the highly contested title of World's Most Embarrassingly Pathetic Onyx. Because not only does he immediately miss a Rock Throw, Beaver's Rock Smash gets the 50% defense drop, Onyx misses a second Rock Throw, and then Beaver connects with a critical hit Rock Smash for the clean KO. This is going uncharacteristically well. Like, it's hard to tell if Beaver is Lisa Nalgabe or if Rourke just sucks. With Cranidos out last, Beaver eats a simple boosted Leer that drops us down to +2 defense before we retaliate with a Rock Smash that looks just shy of a 2-shot. If it weren't for the freaking defense drop, baby. That's the Beaver difference. So Cranidos fires off a headbutt, with his only hope being a critical hit or a flinch. But Beaver simply cannot be stopped, and with one last Rock Smash, she completes her death-defying sweep of Rourke, winning us the very first gym badge. What an absolutely incredible performance from Beaver, who with the levels gained from that battle evolves into the bulkier, goofier Bibarel. I thought it'd be many more attempts until we saw this idiot's beautiful face, but Beaver decided to get it done in attempt 1. Congratulations, buddy. You've earned a permanent spot on the roster. Hey, Flygon? Yeah, Garchomp FJ? What's that? Oh, that's the Cloth of Averages. I wouldn't read into it much. As we arrive in Floroma Town, it's time for our next encounter, Apom. Unfortunately, these little monkeys are randomly found in honey trees, which take forever to farm, even if I change the time on my very real Nintendo DS so that I don't have to wait the full 6 hours to attract a Pokemon to the 2 trees I have access to. I end up finding literally every other honey tree Pokemon before coming across an eligible encounter. I even find a female Combee before pulling an Apom, but eventually the little simian reveals himself in Floroma Meadows. Now, I could continue farming honey trees in the hopes of finding a Munchlax, which would obviously be an eligible and extremely good encounter, but my understanding is that finding a Munchlax in a honey tree is not guaranteed because they only show up in a few randomly selected trees across Sinnoh. Theoretically, I could do this forever and never find a Munchlax, and for that same reason, I decide that it wouldn't be appropriate to call up my Uncle Jintendo, so unfortunately we'll have to do without one of the strongest Pokemon in the game. Anyways, Beaver proves to be far too powerful for Mars's Wakandan kitten, which means we can quickly get to Eterna City where 3 new encounters await. From Eterna Forest, I catch Bunny, the Klutzy Baniri. From Route 211, I catch Nightbird, the Hoot, and from Mount Cornet, I catch Star Baby, the Cleffa. All 3 of these cutie pies evolved before the fight against the second gym leader Gardenia, though it's only our new feathered friend who proves to be an important player. Bird takes out Turtwig and Shareem Abdul-Jabbar, and then Nightbird switches into an Axum not-so-swift Justice against Roserade with a few pecks. Birds beat plants, who'da thunk. Flygon, the Cloth of Averages is back and he brought a friend. Don't worry, that's just the ad bulb. The ad bulb? Yeah, the ad bulb. He glows bright when someone's about to do an ad read. This video is sponsored by Squarespace, an online platform that helps you build and manage your own website, whether it's an online store for your business or a personal blog for your thoughts. Squarespace recently introduced their brand new guided design system, Squarespace Blueprint, which lets you choose from curated layouts and styling options to create a distinguished and professional online presence from the ground up. Squarespace Blueprint makes the perfect website tailored to whatever your brand or business is, and optimizes the site for every device. Plus, with integrated SEO tools, your passion project will show up more often to more people. You all know Poppy, right? Well, did you know that I use Squarespace to create her very own website, poppyhg.com? There's a whole gallery of pictures, and now with Squarespace's video collection feature, there's an entire video library for your viewing pleasure. Look how small you used to be, Poppy. No? Not paying attention? With additional features like analytic information about the traffic of your website and online stores to help monetize your passion, you're sure to get the most out of your Squarespace subscription. So if you're looking to start a website for your business or hobby or corgi, then you should check out squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch your website, you can use my custom link to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Thanks so much to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Now, let's get back to the challenge. Before leaving Eterna City, we gotta face off against Team Galactic Commander Jupiter, and without a Dark Resist, her smelly cat is pretty damn tough. Her lead Zubat, though, is easy enough to take out with a few confusions from our winged Vigilante. As Skuntank hits the field with a thud, I stay in to eat a pretty nasty Night Slash before using Thief to steal our foe's held Citrus Berry. That ensures that we can survive another hit, so I stay in again, this time to set up a Reflect. As a result, I can switch to Bunny and take very little damage, though this again does risk quite a few critical hits. Bunny is faster than Skuntank, so for at least a few turns we trade off attacks. Jump Kick and Cut both do solid damage until we find ourselves down to just 16 HP, with Skuntank 1 hit away from getting knocked out. A miss from our inaccurate attacks would be devastating here, but it's a risk I've gotta take. Bunny goes for one last jump kick, and even though it connects, Pepe Le Pew unexpectedly survives with a sliver and retaliates with a Night Slash for a brutal KO. Bird can come in and revenge kill with a quick attack to win the battle, but we officially have the run's very first death. Although we were together for only a fortnight, Bunny's speed, relative power, and je ne sais quoi will be sorely missed. But as the light of one life is extinguished, a new one is ignited. And after Cynthia forces me into parenthood, Egg the Togepi is born. Don't worry, little one. I won't let anything happen to you, I promise. With some gentle and nurturing love, Egg evolves into Togetic. Kinda weird that Togepi evolves into some sort of bird-like thing, since everyone knows that birds don't hatch from eggs, but whatever. Regardless, Egg is gonna be important against Fantina's ghost types. Since neither of us can hit each other with our primary stab moves, this is gonna be a war of attrition. Against Duskull, Bird gets the KO with a few wing attacks, using a held Rossberry to avoid getting burned. Haunter is a bit annoying because she's faster than most of my Pokemon and can spam status from Hypnosis and Confuse Ray, but with Sucker Punch as her only way to deal damage to normal types, some tedious switching means that Monkey is able to take the KO with an Astonish without taking too much damage in return. That just leaves Miss Magius, but without access to Shadow Ball, she's significantly less scary. Psybeam just doesn't hit nearly as hard, so Monkey is able to get off a Perverse Tickle to lower her attack and defense. Then it's a switch to Beaver, whose secondary water typing baits Magical Leaf, granting a very safe switch to Nightbird. So he eats a Psybeam and then uses Thief to steal Miss Magius' Citrus Berry. From here, I go back to Beaver to bait another Magical Leaf so that I can bring in Egg for his glorious debut. Despite a modest nature, Egg is not a fighter, at least not yet. Right now, he's just here to support his team with Yawns, which grants Nightbird enough protection to come in and take the KO with a few more Thieves. That's badge number 3. Which means we're free to head to Route 209 and catch easily one of the best Pokemon in the entire franchise, Chansey. This specially defensive wall completely neuters any special attacker for the rest of the game, so there's really only one logical thing to do with such an overwhelmingly broken Pokemon. With that, I head to Route 215 where I catch Sexpest the Lickitung. But SP isn't our only new teammate because we now also have access to 3 more encounters. From this house in Veilstone City, Oops, wrong house. From this house in Veilstone City, I get a Porygon named Duck. From Valor Lakefront, I get my precious Beep Beep pony named Giraffe. And from Route 213, I catch a Chatot named Bird. Wow, that is one Stewie Griffin-ass looking Pokemon. Anyways, Veilstone City is also home to the Game Corner, where I'll be able to get more return TMs as soon as money allows. A lot of my Pokemon have pretty horrible level up movesets, so an accurate 120 base power stab move will go a long way to making some of them stronger. And speaking of Pokemon that desperately need a good stab move, Monkey the Apom finally evolves and dear God, what is that? Oh, what happened to my beautiful boy? I think I'm gonna be sick. Okay, I'm fine. Let's move on. Next is the fight against Maylene, whose fighting types are a serious challenge. I'm sorry, we need to go back to this abomination because what the f is going on with Ambipom's design? The bowl cut? The nose? Is that a nose? What the hell are these? Are these supposed to be hands? Are those fingers? Because they look like udders. There's no world where someone drew this and didn't know what they were doing. They knew that they were putting cow udders on a monkey. This is intentional. I mean, depending on your interpretation of the Geneva Conventions, this is a war crime. But okay, it is time to move on because we now have a pretty tricky battle against Maylene's fighting types. Though thanks to our newest encounters, our entire team, minus Queen Beaver, only takes neutral damage from fighting type attacks. Still, Maylene's Lucario is definitely scary. Against Meditite, I lead with Bird, who shrugs off an intimidated fake out and then gets the KO with Aerial Ace. Macho comes in second and easily eats our second Aerial Ace, but then he just misses with Rock Tomb. I don't think that would have killed without a crit, but maybe I'm wrong. Regardless, a third Aerial Ace takes out the Chokester and leaves Maylene with just Lucario. So it's off to Egg on a rather nasty Drain Punch. We're dead to a critical hit here, but I gotta risk it to get off a Yawn. So Force Palm comes out, and Egg survives. With Lucario on his way to Sleepy Town, I switch to Giraffe on a Drain Punch that does a little less than 50%. Now that the anthropomorphic dog is safely snoozing, Giraffe is free to hit an Earthquake, though it's not enough to get the one-shot. So we will need to stay in and hit another, but that's safe as long as Lucario doesn't get a one-turn wake-up and land a critical hit. You know, I'm starting to think that Beep Beep Pony is cursed, but at the very least I'm able to bring in Bird and hopefully just get a quick revenge kill with Chatter. Well, that's not good. Quick Dr. HG math corner here. The odds of getting the one-turn wake-up into double crit is 0.078%. And if you want to add the 50% random chance to go Drain Punch over Force Palm, which is so much worse since Lucario is now basically at full HP, that's actually a 0.039%. Oh, the cloth of averages, like the law of averages. I get it. What? Sick of cloth. Shit! At this point, even one more critical hit will probably result in a wipe, so I just gotta play assuming no crits. This starts by bringing in Bird to lower Lucario's attack with Intimidate. Luke then hits a nasty Force Palm before we retaliate with an Aerial Ace. On the next turn, I decide to go for a quick attack so as not to bring Lucario into healing range with a second Aerial Ace, but this ends up being a massive misplay since 1, Lucario goes for Drain Punch to recover back HP anyways, and 2, Maylene is one of the very few bosses in the entire franchise that does not actually use any healing items. It's easy to forget that, but the result is a complete waste of a turn. Since I'd really rather not sacrifice Bird here, I've got no choice but to switch to her brooding counterpart on a Force Palm, which paralyzes. Sure, why not? Lucario then hits another massive Drain Punch to get back into the green before we miss a 95% accurate Air Slash. You know what they say, when it rains, it's time to pair up and get on the arc. On the next turn, Nightbird manages to dodge another crit and finally connect with an Air Slash, but then our noble warrior falls to a Metal Claw that crits. I bring Bird back in for the Intimidate. If she can dodge one last crit, Aerial Ace should be enough for the KO here. So Force Bomb comes out, Bird gets paralyzed, but she connects with an Aerial Ace, narrowly winning us a disaster of a battle against Maylene. That's 4 gym badges and 4 deaths. Perhaps most frustrating is that all 3 of these deaths were Pokemon that I don't get to use very much, so I was really looking forward to having them on my team for the rest of the playthrough. Nightbird's death hurts the most since that was entirely my fault. But with the cloth of averages satiated and my surviving teammates gaining some powerful buffs via evolution, we're actually in a pretty solid position to burn through the rest of the mid-game. Against Crasher Wake, Duck, now a Porygon 2, can one-shot Gyarados with a Thunderbolt. And since they only took a little bit of damage from Waterfall after Trace intimidated Gyarados, we can stay in against Floatzel, tank a Crunch, and then get another KO with another Thunderbolt. Last is Quagsire, so with some careful switching to play around Yawn, I bring in Bird and take the kill with a few returns. The fight against our rival Boy in Canalave City is the first potentially difficult rival fight, but with a Yawn and Encore combination from Egg to get Bird into a safe position against Boy's own Staraptor without being intimidated, we can pretty easily Aerial Ace our way through the biggest threats, and then use the rest of our team to clean up the leftovers. On Iron Island, I snag a Shiny Stone, which I use to finally evolve Egg into Togekiss just in time for the fight against Byron. With Auraspheres, he slices through Byron's team like a couple of perfectly cooked fish fillets. In Snowpoint City, we face off against the 7th gym leader Candace. This fight's not as clear-cut as the last few, mainly due to her double-teaming Blizzard spamming Ghost type. Monkey's our lead into Sneasel. At least we only got to see him from the back. We outspeed to hit a return, which isn't enough to get the KO, but a relatively weak slash in retaliation means that it's not the end of the world to waste a hyper potion here. Once Sneasel falls, Abomasnow comes out second and sets up the hail. But by holding a Cherry Berry, Monkey's natural gift becomes a 60 base power fire type move, which thanks to Technician gets boosted to 90 base power. More than enough to get the clean KO and bring in Frostlass third. So here we go. I switch to Beaver on a resisted Blizzard. Then it's a switch to SP the Licky Licky as Frostlass sets up Double Team. A second Double Team means that SP is free to remove the weather with a sunny day, so from here she just spams Protect. The idea is to stall Frostlass out of her 5 Blizzard PP, which does eventually happen, though not before Candace gets her ace all the way up to +6 evasion. Doesn't matter though, because once Frostlass is stuck using Psychic, I can switch to Duck and spam Recover to stall Psychic PP. A special defense drop forces me to switch to Egg, but Wish spam with him does the same exact thing. Once Frostlass is stuck going for double teams, I can deal damage with shockwaves that never miss from Duck, and ultimately bring in Bird to take the KO with an Aerial Ace that also never misses. So all that's left is Piloswine, but thanks to her mild nature, a single close combat is enough for the clean KO, winning us badge number 7. And so begins the culmination of the Team Galactic storyline. Deep within their headquarters, I pick up the Dubious Disc, which I can use to evolve Duck into Porygon Z, though this would come at the expense of some of their bulk. Sure, PZ is faster and stronger, but I'm not sure if that's worth giving up one of my bulkiest teammates, especially since the evolution would obviously be irreversible. For now, as I face off against Cyrus, I decide to leave Duck as they are. Without his full team, Cyrus is still pretty simple. Monkey one-shot Sneasel with Return, does about 60% to Crobat, and then switches to Egg, who puts our enemy to sleep with Yawn, ensuring that Duck can get a clean kill with Thunderbolt. So all that's left is Honchkrow, who we manage to outspeed and kill with another Thunderbolt. Wow, that is a first. I don't think I've ever lost a Pokemon in this fight, and maybe it's the lack of an Eviolite that's throwing me off, but never would I have guessed that we were in range to a critical hit there. I am so sorry, Duck. I will avenge you, I can promise you that. Our 5th death bodes extremely poorly for the much harder fight against Cyrus in the Distortion world. Duck has been replaced by Starbaby, now a fully fledged Clefable, but we've got no more Pokemon left in the box. One more death and our team will be down to less than 6 members. Okay, well actually I could still catch an Eevee and a Swablu, which are both normal types, but since neither of them would be able to evolve, they wouldn't exactly be the best teammates in the world. So, as the music swells and our final showdown against Cyrus begins, all I can do is hope that we make it out in one piece. Cyrus leads with Houndoom and I lead with Egg to immediately get the one-shot with an Aura Sphere. That brings in Weavile second, so it's off to Beaver on the Fake Out. A powerful Night Slash brings our queen into the yellow as she connects with a Yawn. So then it's back to Egg to eat the second Night Slash before Cyrus's ace takes a snooze and falls to a quad-effective Aura Sphere. Third is Gyarados, so it's off to Monkey, who graciously dodges the freeze from Ice Fang, letting him use his held Rostberry to one-shot the fish with a 90 base power electric-type natural gift. The Killer Crow is in 4th, so I go to Starbaby on a nasty Drill Peck. Unfortunately, Cyrus's Honchkrow had a change of nature since the last battle and is no longer minus speed, meaning that he moves first and fires off another Drill Peck. Are we doomed to repeat the past, or can Starbaby hold on? With 29 HP, Starbaby lives and takes the KO on Honchkrow with a single Thunderbolt. That's for you, Duck. All that remains is Crobat, but SP can come in and beat the bat down into the red with a few strengths. Unfortunately, Cyrus has a full restore, so as I bring in Bird, Crobat is back to full HP. He then goes for a cheeky Confuse Ray, meaning that Bird's gotta clutch up big time. Her first return successfully connects, dropping Cyrus's final Pokemon down to the red. Though with the state of our team, we've got no choice but to stay in. Crobat hits a nasty air / the confusion animation starts, and Bird breaks through for a second time, getting the clean KO and winning us the final fight against Cyrus. That was pretty ugly, and just a little bit of bad luck could have resulted in more than a few deaths. But with the world saved, we're off to Sunyshore City where the final gym battle awaits. And unlike in most playthroughs, I can't just spam Earthquake against Volkner's electric types. Our only Earthquake TM died alongside Giraffe. So instead, I need another plan, and it hinges on my crime against nature, Monkey. I start by using Fling to hit his lead Jolteon with a Razor Fang, which causes a flinch. This then allows me to use Monkey's only other move, Last Resort, to nail Jolteon with a massive 130 base power stab move for the KO. This then baits Raichu out next, who we also cleanly kill with a second Last Resort. Electivire is third, but he too falls to most damage rolls of Last Resort. And even if we low roll, he'd need a critical hit to get the KO. So, Last Resort comes out, and Electivire survives. But Thunder Punch doesn't crit, so Monkey lives and takes the KO on the following turn. That just leaves Luxray, but this guy is easy work for SP, who shrugs off a Thunder Fang on the switch. A second Thunder Fang does a bit more damage and causes a flinch, so look, this is probably still fine unless Luxray gets like, I don't know, a paralysis and then 3 full paralyses in a row, but that's not gonna happen. Okay, well, fortunately, we can just switch to Star Baby, and surely she'll be able to deal with Luxray. I mean, it's not like she's gonna come in on a random move Ice Fang and then get frozen. All right, kids, back to Dr. HG's math corner because this one is truly ridiculous. Now, the exact probability of all this happening is a bit hard to calculate, but simplistically, the odds of flinch into paralysis, into triple full paralysis, into random move Ice Fang freeze, all off of 95% accurate moves, is roughly a 0.000325% chance. Again, this isn't exact since it ignores the conditional odds of crits and flinches from the full paralysis Thunder Fangs, and probably a couple other things that would make a mathematician go crazy trying to factor it all in. But simplistically, that is roughly a 3 in 1 million chance of happening. And the thing is, that's not even the wildest part. The real kicker to all of this is that after getting hit by a Thunder Fang, Star Baby immediately unfreezes and nails Luxray with her own Ice Beam that also freezes. What the f is happening? I guess RNGesus woke up and chose violence because that is the only explanation for this. Now, thankfully, Luxray does stay frozen, and Star Baby takes the kill with the combination of a Thunderbolt to prevent healing, and then one final Ice Beam. So, at the end of it all, we walk away completely deathless with the 8th and final gym badge in hand. Which means that after spamming our way through Victory Road with Monkey's returns and last resorts, we've made it to the Pokémon League. Without any spare teammates, our final roster is the same as it's been since losing Duck, all leveled up to the level cap of 59 to match Lucian's ace. After the chaos that was the fight against Volkner, I have no idea how to feel going into these final fights. Is luck on my side? Will we become champions of the Pokémon League? Or will one bad turn stop us dead in our tracks? Let's find out. First up is Aaron, who's normally pretty easy thanks to the level cap. For example, Bird is able to cleanly kill Yanmega with an Aerial Ace, though after that, Drapion immediately comes in and we have a bit of a problem. He outspeeds and nails Bird with a super effective Ice Fang, though even a critical hit wouldn't be enough for the kill. Without any BS, a la Volkner's Luxray, Bird can hit a return for solid damage, activating our foe's Citrus Berry. But not wanting to risk a crit if I can avoid it, I swap to Monkey, who gets crit and frozen. Pokemon is a stupid game. Well, I switched to Egg on a cross poison, and then after tanking another one, which poisons, our Air Slash retaliates for the KO. And with our held wide lens, it's perfectly safe to kill Vespiquen and Heracross with Air Slashes as well, so all that's left is Scizor, who gets roasted alive by a flamethrower from Star Baby.
Before we go any
No, we don't have time for that. Bertha's ground types are second. She leads with Whiscash, and I lead with Star Baby, who's not quite strong enough to get the one-shot with Grass Knot. The result is that Star Baby eats an Earth Power, but by going for Moonlight on the following turn, I can get back to full HP as Whiscash sets up a Sandstorm. Then I take the kill with a second Grass Knot, meaning that other than the 2 ticks of Sandstorm chip, Star Baby is at full HP as Glysaur comes in second. She can hit a hard Earthquake, but Star Baby is rather bulky and easily claps back with an Ice Beam for the KO. That brings in Hippowdon third, and she's bulky enough to not go down in one shot. So to avoid getting crit killed by Earthquake, I switch to Egg on what ends up being a Yawn, which means that from here, I Encore Hippowdon into Yawn, which grants a safe switch into Monkey, who can deal some damage with Return. Then I just switch around until Hippowdon's Encore ends, ultimately using Bird to bait a Stone Edge that grants a safe switch to Beaver. And then my starter proceeds to sweep the rest of Bertha's team. Waterfall finishes off the half-health Hippowdon and cleanly one-shots both Golem and Rhyperior, netting us another clunky victory. But I've got the perfect strategy for Flint, who's third. It starts by leading with Beaver. Well, that's the wrong lead. Folks, I think simultaneously playing Run and Bun is breaking my brain. Go watch that playthrough on the Highlights channel, by the way, because it is wild. Anyways, I was supposed to lead Beaver, but since I accidentally led Monkey, I first pivot to Egg on what I'm hoping is a sunny day, but turns out to be a flamethrower which does solid damage. So then I switch to Beaver on a second flamethrower, which crits, so now I'm risking a Dark Pulse crit, but at this point I gotta keep moving forward. Beaver sets up Stealth Rock as Houndoom finally goes for a sunny day, so on the next turn I go for Rain Dance as Houndoom fires off a nasty Dark Pulse that Beaver barely survives. I switch to Egg, this time on a Sludge Bomb that activates our held Citrus Berry. I need to get Monkey in without taking damage because otherwise he'll fall to a priority Mach Punch from Infernape. I hit Houndoom with a Yawn as Flint goes for another sunny day, so on the next turn, I use Encore to render the dog completely useless, finally granting the safe switch into Monkey. With that, we're back on track because a Silk Scarf boosted Return kills Houndoom. And then, with the help of Stealth Rock Chip, Last Resorts kill all 4 of Flint's remaining Pokemon. So once again, I've steered my way to victory. Against the final member of the Elite Four, Lucian, Monkey is my lead once again, though this time it's on purpose. Return instantly kills Mr. Mime, and then based on how the switch-in AI works, Last Resorts conveniently kill Gallade, Alakazam, and Espeon. So last is Bronzong, who gets encored into Calm Mind by Star Baby. This lets her fire off a few flamethrowers until Bronzong falls into range of a close combat from Bird. So just like that, we've defeated the Elite Four. And now it's time to face off against Cynthia. She's got some pretty big threats, which means this might require some sacrifices. But no matter what happens, the run ends in this room. So let's do it. She leads with Spiritomb, and I lead with Beaver, who immediately nails Spiritomb with a Yawn before getting hit by a Dark Pulse. A Protect on the next turn ensures Beaver doesn't fall to a critical hit before Spiritomb takes a snooze. On the Spectre's first turn of sleep, Beaver sets up a Stealth Rock. Rather fitting given how hard she worked to defeat Rourke at the very start of the run. With that though, I switch to Egg as Spiritomb snoozes for a second turn. 2 Air Slashes are enough for the KO as Cynthia's lead takes yet another turn of sleep. I guess that makes up for Maylene's Lucario waking up after 1 turn. Thanks, Cloth of Averages. Cynthia brings in her Togekiss second for an honor battle. Though with Stealth Rock support, our Air Slash is again enough for the 2-shot, and all our lesser clone can do is retaliate with a single Shockwave before going down. But that brings in Lucario third, who threatens with Stone Edge. Unfortunately, he also threatens the rest of my team with Aura Sphere, so we have to stay in to get off some damage. An Air Slash hits Lucario hard, and then he flinches is, which would normally be great, but because Cynthia's Lucario has Steadfast, we just gave him a speed boost. The one time Serene Grace comes into play all run, and it's actually a bad thing. Because now, if Lucario kills Egg with a Stone Edge, he could very feasibly run through my entire team with Aura Sphere. Egg and I have been through so much since he hatched in Hearthome City. He's grown from a little helpless baby to a supportive teammate to the full-fledged special sweeper he is today. He was essential to defeating Fantina, to stopping Maylene's massacre, and to saving the world from Cyrus's delusions of grandeur. It's unfair to ask for something else after Egg has already given so much, but I need him to live this hit. I need him to survive. Egg, hold tight, buddy. Hold tight. With just 13 HP, Egg survives, and by firing off one last air slash, Lucario falls and Cynthia is down to her final 3 Pokemon. My Lodic is 4th, so I bring in SP on a Dragon Pulse. We outspeed to hit a return, indicating that Cynthia has gone for a nonsense Mirror Coat, so after tanking just one Surf, SP gets the KO with another return. But that brings out the beast. Cynthia's level 62 Garchomp finally storms the battlefield, and it's looking like SP has to take one for the team. A massive Dragon Rush comes out, but SP lives with just 10 HP to fire off a return. It's not enough for even a 2-shot, but it's more than enough for Monkey to take the kill with his Asperberry Charge Natural Gift. Of course, the logical thing to do here is let SP go down. Then Monkey would be able to come in for free and get the revenge kill. But Monkey does have a lax nature, and because of this, Garchomp never gets the kill unless she crits. So by risking a crit onto Monkey, I can save SP's life. Yes, that opens the possibility of Garchomp sweeping the rest of my team if she lands a few more critical hits against Bird and Starbaby, but what are the odds of our foe getting back-to-back critical hits? Again. Call me a softie, but I've grown to like this bizarre little pervert, so saving her life is worth the risk, and I'm sure the rest of my team agrees. So, SP retreats to the safety of her Pokeball, Monkey takes the field, Dragon Rush comes out, and Monkey lives! With a natural gift, he outspeeds to take the kill on Garchomp, leaving Cynthia with just her Roserade. But as quickly as she comes out, she too falls to a single return, winning us not just the battle against Cynthia, but the entire run. This challenge was a lot of fun. I'm still bummed I wasn't able to use Giraffage or Chatot nearly as long as I was hoping to, but in the end it all worked out, and this is definitely one of my sillier Hall of Fame teams. I'm just glad Little Beaver made it to the end because things were looking a little dire against Flint. As always, thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, it'd be great if you could leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Or don't, I don't know, but I do know that you should follow me on Instagram. Yeah, surprise, I have an Instagram. Not sure I've ever actually plugged it before, but I like posting there from time to time, though candidly, it's mostly pictures of Poppy. Anyways, stay tuned for more Nuzlocke content, and until then, remember to always, always, always play around the critical hit.